Welcome, everyone. Live Onchain Summit here at the Howard Hotel. It's truly an honor. Welcome to Late Night on Base. We have the one and only Jesse Pollak on the podcast. I just have to say, without Jesse Pollak, there is no base. Without Jesse Pollak, there is no summit. There's no community building. And I wouldn't be doing this podcast. So it's truly an honor. Jesse Pollak, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I think, for those that may not know, Jesse is the founder of Base and also is very instrumental in this ecosystem. For those that may be watching this, on Spotify for the first time, coming across, maybe they're a new participant onto this ecosystem. Maybe they're watching on YouTube. They want to get involved and they're just finding out. They hear all about this Jesse Pollak individual. If you don't mind, who is Jesse Pollak?
Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C. My mom is a midwife. I was born at home. My dad is a labor lawyer, so he represented labor unions in the U.S. I went to Quaker school my whole childhood, which was a big part of who I am. And then I taught myself how to code. I went to college for a year and I started a company. And I think pretty quickly in college, I was like, I like the social parts of this. I like building things. The school part, I don't know if it's for me. And so after 2 years, I dropped out, started that company, did that for 5 years, and it brought me to Coinbase. So it's that's a little bit about me. I mean, today I live in the East Bay. I have been in the Bay Area. I'm actually a 5th generation Berkeleyan, so that's cool. And I work on Base and kind of figure out how I can help this community grow faster and help bring more people on chain.
That's amazing. So you knew at an early age that, you wanted to build, you wanted to code, and you realized you had that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
I would assume that was probably the wisest decision, getting out of school and going into...
Yeah, well, I actually didn't learn how to code until my senior year of high school. But before that, I was always into starting businesses. I had a good lawn care business. I had a snow shoveling business. A few other things growing up. I had a business where I would replace phone screens. I would buy them off of our neighborhood listserv, replace them and sell them on Craigslist because there was an arbitrage there. But I didn't know that there was code behind the screen. I was always excited about technology, but I didn't know there was code. And then I learned how to code, and I was like, oh, this is like a way for me to express myself. I can build things that can reach millions of people on the internet. And I think once that dot connected to me, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to build products that people love.
And I think some people take a long time to figure out, what their purpose is in life or what they even like. And it's just really nice to know that you figured it out at an early age and you're doing it. And obviously not only just, fulfilling your path, but you're actually creating the ecosystem out here for others to find their path and their purpose. So let me ask you this. I think right now, for people, again, who aren't familiar, everyone in the Base ecosystem, if you knows who you are. You're on X, Farcaster, they know you are. I'm more focused on getting the new participants to the 1 billion plus people that I want to use the chain. Yeah. I want them to know who Jesse Pollak is. The reason why Base is so good, it starts at the top, right? And I'm going to let you know that everyone in the community is just impressed by your leadership because you set the tone for the foundation for other projects to want to strive to be their best, to work hard, show up day in, day out, because it starts with you. So let me ask you, Jesse, what makes you so passionate about Base?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. And I will say, I knew I wanted to build, but I wasn't quite sure what that was going to lead to earlier in my life. But now that I'm working on Base, I kind of feel like everything I did has led to this. And I think from an early age, I knew I wanted to make a positive change in the world. I think part of that was going to a Quaker school. And, if you think about Quaker, or if you don't know about Quakerism, the values of Quakerism are simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship. And, you can TLDR that. It's like, make the world a better place, make the world a more connected place, make the world a place that brings everyone together. And so that was something that I felt like I had a calling to from a young age. I wanted to make change. My first company, it didn't directly connect. When I joined Coinbase, I connected with the mission of Coinbase, which was increase economic freedom globally. That felt very connected to this purpose that I had in life. But the work I was doing, it was still much more on the kind of trading side, the speculation side. And I was learning a lot. I felt like I was having an impact. But I feel like it really, when I started working on Base, and when we found Base, because it took a while for us to realize that this is something we should build, I felt like, oh, this is actually a platform that could potentially change the world fundamentally. Like, if we actually accomplish our mission of building a global on-chain economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom, we have the potential to make billions of people's lives better. And for me, that felt like so much kind of like connection to what I'd been looking for. And it felt like so much of the journey that I had been on and the learnings that I'd had kind of brought me here, in terms of A, putting me in a place where I could make that impact, and then B, giving me the skills so I could do that effectively. And I kind of feel like that's what we're seeing emerge in Base. It's people often say that like companies or communities are kind of like downstream of the people who start them, and I think a lot of what we're seeing is like, I have a value set, and that's been imbued in the Base ecosystem. It's this idea of like, what does it mean to be based? To stay optimistic, to work hard, to be positive, to put the team over the individual, to push boundaries with creativity. Like, in many ways, that's something that has come from my like soul and who I am. And now it's something that I think kind of acts as a shelling point for all the other people who are trying to find their own calling in the world. And they hear that and they see that and say, oh, like, this feels like a place where I can do my best, where I can be a part of something bigger than myself, and I can contribute to making the world a better place. And I think that kind of like interplay between the way I grew up and the way I've always wanted to make a change in the world, and then the way people are seeing that and seeing that Base is a decentralized community and platform where they can accomplish their dreams, I think that's a really powerful thing.
Yeah, and I just feel like people feel embraced, embraced in this ecosystem. And again, it makes sense that your upbringing has kind of led you to having this passion to want to help. And not only can you help, you now have this Base ecosystem you can help on a massive scale worldwide. And so it's infectious for the sense of like, because they see your passion. You can't fake passion. I speak to people all the time. You can tell easily when someone's like faking it. But with you, it's not faking. You show up, the genuine desire, and it's contagious and it trickles down. And so for me, it's like, I've only been a part of the Base ecosystem since actually June. I started this podcast. I was just like, you know what?
Let's go.
Like, no, I know, right?
I love it.
No, but like, I was just like, okay, I love Jesse Pollak. It's funny, like back in, I was like part of some communities. We were just like, let's get a tweet from Jesse. Like, it would be so cool. How do we get it? To now being like, okay, I don't care about that, but I want to see, I personally wanted to feel like, how can I individually make an impact on this ecosystem? I'm not a builder, but you say it well. It doesn't matter if you're a dev. It doesn't matter if you know tech. Just contribute. Maybe it's organizing meetups. Maybe it's organizing some Twitter space.
Maybe it's hosting Late Night on Base.
Maybe it's hosting Late Night on Base and having Jesse Pollak on the episode. So for me, it was like, okay, what can I do? I was like, I can't code. I don't know that, but I know how to talk. And I think I'll give it a shot. And so for me, it was like, then as I started getting it, and I've seen this example of you at the top, really putting your all in what you're doing. And I see these other projects that are just like so like hungry and so motivated to really build some cool stuff. I start talking to them, and then I want to give them a platform to speak, because I feel, the world needs more teams like on Base. And I've been a part of crypto for a long time. I've never seen anything like Base. And so again, it starts with you. So again, thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. But I do think that it may start with me, but it is a multiplicative effect through a decentralized ecosystem. And I think what we're seeing happen right now is that those values are being deeply imbued in the ecosystem and the economy. And then you're getting people all around the world who are independently rising to the occasion and rising to the challenge and like raising their hand and saying like, this is what I want to do too. And then, I mean, like, who knows what it leads to, right? Like, even this whole event, right? I didn't have anything to do with it. Like, amazing. Literally, like the Base team did. I just showed up, right? Amazing. I like got an Uber today and showed up here, and I'm gonna give a talk. I'm gonna do these interviews, and it's the level of creativity here is crazy. It really blows my mind. And I've been here since 10, and I've been just walking around and meeting people, and every single person I meet. And every single person I talk to, they maybe show me what they're working on, or they tell me about something they're really fired up about. And it's so authentic and passionate and real. And all of them are different and diverse, and they're all bringing a different perspective that's bringing something unique to what we're building here. And that like kind of, I I don't know, like melange of creativity and expressiveness and community and diversity and people coming from different backgrounds with different skill sets. I mean, I think that's what's really making Base an incredible place to be right now.
Yeah, and I think, and again, like I've been in the crypto space for a while, and I've been, I'm a quote unquote degen at heart. I've been on every chain, Solana, Ethereum, Pulse chain, all that. But to me, there's nothing like the family of Base, and we're at its infancy. I actually equated it to, I was telling someone here, I really do feel we're so early in Base. It reminds, still day one. It reminds me of like back in like 2012. You ever see those videos of Andreas Antonopoulos at Bitcoin conferences? He's like doing it in rooms like 10 people. Totally. And then it just takes off. I honestly think, Base is going to get to where it needs to be, and a bet on Base is a bet on Coinbase.
Yeah. Well, I think a bet on Base is a bet on Coinbase, but a bet on Base is also a bet on kind of humanity. And I think what you're like getting at there in terms of it being day one is exactly right. If you look at the numbers, in order to bring the world on chain, we have about a 10,000x from where we are right now. That's a lot. That's a lot of growth. And so it does mean that the people who are here right now, you're at the very beginning of what has the potential to be a complete transformation of the way the world works, and a complete upgrade of all these systems that I think aren't working for anyone today into something that works much better, and that actually gives creators platforms that reward them, and gives builders open platforms that don't extract from them, and makes it so regardless of where you're born, regardless of where you live, regardless of what phone you have the same access. Like, that possibility is real now. It's a lot of work we have to do. We have to do 10,000x, 10,000 times where we're at right now. But the people who are here right now, I mean, we like to call internally, and this is a term we started using like very early on the Base, we like to call the people here the first builders. Like, it started with 40 of us on the core team or whatever. Originally it was like 3 of us on the core team, but we were the first builders. And now, still day one today, it's still 10,000 steps to go. The people who are here at the Onchain Summit and at Basecamp and listening to this podcast and hosting Base meetups, like, we're the first builders. And all of us, for every one of us, there's going to be 10,000 more people. And so if we want to accomplish our goal, and if we want to keep this like ethos, this culture, this value set of what it means to be based, all of us need to be keeping that in mind and realizing that we are the representatives. We're the first builders. We're the ones who are going to find the next builders, the second builders, the third builders, the fifth builders, the 10,000th builders. And if all of us keep that positivity, keep that based ethos as we do that, and bring in and help people understand what it means to be based when they join us and join this economy, I think we're going to create something special. And it's going to be something that, if we are successful, I mean, it could last for hundreds of years. Like
all our lifetimes.
It could be our whole life, right? Like it could way outlive us. I mean, the opportunity to be at the beginning of something of that magnitude,
exciting.
It's exciting, and it's rare. Like, this doesn't happen frequently. It happened with the internet, and it's happening again right now. And it's something, I don't know, I feel grateful for it every day.
And I'm grateful to just be doing my little part in this.
We're all just doing our little part.
We are. So you have Basecamp, you speak at Basecamp, you have Onchain Summit, you're speaking at Onchain Summit. My question to you is, why not retire on a beach? Why? What's your? Obviously you've done well financially, and I know the passion's there. But what motivates you to go out of your way to not be at a beach, but actually be at these conferences, to give these talks? And what motivates you to get there?
Ooh. I mean, I don't think it's one thing, but one thing that stands out to me is I just get so much energy from meeting and supporting other builders. Like, there's this calling for me, which is make the world a better place. And, like, the Base mission, I think, aligns to that, like building a global economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. I can't imagine a better way to make the world a better place. And so I think that is like this kind of like high level, spiritual, philosophical driver for me that is keeping me focused and keeping me working hard and keeping me showing up here on a Saturday, waking up this morning, going on a long run so I could be in the zone for this whole day. But then I think like the thing that sustains me through it is like showing up here and it not feeling like a slog, but instead feeling energizing, because I like walk up to someone new and have a conversation, and they give me energy because they're so passionate about what they're building, and they're bringing some new perspective that I hadn't even thought of. And then you multiply that by the 100 people here and the billions of people around the world. I'm like, oh, I can actually like imagine doing this for the rest of my life. Like if we are successful, I will be doing this for the rest of my life, right? We got the whole world to bring Onchain, and then we have to rebuild the global economy. So like the scale of impact that is possible here, both on the kind of macro philosophical scale, but then also on the micro, like person to person scale, I think that's what gets me like fired up and keeps me motivated and keeps me excited. And yeah, but I mean, it's not all the time. Like I also have days where I'm just like, fuck, like
you're not a robot.
Like, I'm not a robot. I'm a real human being. And I have like credit to my wife and family and close friends. Like they are so supportive and, caring, and like, they give me so much, both like love for me, but also they give me like so much, like they just see me as I am, and they see that I'm on this like kind of crazy life journey and crazy life mission, and that sometimes it requires me to do things that are kind of crazy, and they're, maybe not the easiest thing for them to have to put up with or to be a part of. And they say, hey, like, we see you as your whole self, and we're here to support you, and we're here to help you be healthy as you do that, but we're gonna get your back all the time. So shout out to my wife.
It takes a support system.
Yeah,
it takes a support system from your loved ones to be able to do what you do. My last question for you, Jesse, would be this: 12 months from now, where would you like to see Base?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing that I'm most focused on, so we had Basecamp about 2 weeks ago. It was incredible. We brought together 400 builders in the mountains of Idlewild, like where we launched Base a year prior. And that was really a moment where I think we brought together, some of the first builders, like a really intimate group. And I think one of my big reflections from that moment was that we have an incredibly strong core. We have an incredibly clear vision and mission. And we have a lot of the systems that are starting to work. Like we're starting to be able to onboard new people. Like we're starting to be able to onboard new builders and not have it take me having one-on-one conversations with everyone, but instead like the systems of a community and an economy starting to work organically and a flywheel starting to be built. And it felt like Basecamp was kind of this like moment where we brought it all together. We all got to like reflect and kind of like concentrate it, almost like distill it down into like, this is what Base is. And we finished Basecamp on like a Saturday, and I went back home on Sunday, and on Monday morning we had our team meeting. Although actually we didn't have a scheduled team meeting because we have our bi-weekly team meeting for the Base core team. But I was messaging with Tom, who's our head of product at Base, and I was saying, hey, like, coming back from Basecamp, I think there could naturally be a feeling of like, oh, we need to like take a break, or like, oh, we need to take our foot off the gas. And me and Tom started talking. We said, okay, if we could land one message with our team about where we go from here, what would that be? And what we landed on, we called a meeting on Monday morning. Like, everyone had just worked really hard. We'd had a huge push for Basecamp, but I called the meeting for Monday morning, like 10 a.m., 15-minute meeting. And the takeaway, the key theme of that meeting was we just distilled down what it means to be based. And we built all these processes and systems to scale what it means to be based. And we did it in an intimate place, in a small group of people, and it worked. And what we now need to do is we need to bring it to the world. It's time to bring Base to the entire world. And what that means is it means going outside of our natural, comfortable places. It means literally going to every single part of the world and showing them now is your time to join this new economy. And so that was that Monday. And since then, we basically started pulling together a plan to bring Base to the world. And, we've already started seeing organic energy. There's meetups happening all around the world. Like this week, there was like 15 different meetups. But we want to go and like validate that energy. And so I guess we haven't talked about this, so this is a little bit of alpha, but later this year, we're going to be doing a global tour where I'm going to go around the world. And we're going to touch down in a bunch of different countries where we're seeing a ton of organic energy. We're going to run build-a-thons. We're going to bring people together and say, hey, the person who's raised their hand and said, I want to host Base meetups, you're important. You're so important that we're going to fly hours, tens of hours to be here, to meet you, to shake your hand, to look you in the eyes and say, keep up. keep it up, keep doing this work. And then we're going to do that in as many places as we possibly can. Because if we can take this energy, this culture, these systems that we started to build and replicate them. So it's not just happening in California, but instead it's happening in every state in the United States and every country around the world. And if we can empower leaders in every country around the world, like, that's an incredible thing. And so if you're watching this, if you're listening to this and you're someone who's excited about Base somewhere in the world, I want you to know that like now is your time. This moment is your time because Base is for everyone and we're building a global on-chain economy that's going to increase innovation, creativity, and freedom. And the only way we can do that is if you do it with us. And so raise your hand, bring together your community, host a Base meetup, participate in a build-a-thon, find ways to be creative on Base, and we will find you, we will back you, we will fund you, we will support you, we will do everything we possibly can to make you successful.
Jesse Pollak, incredible.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This was an incredible conversation, and I'm truly excited to be there in the journey. Like I said, my little part, whatever I can do. And guys, please, if you're watching this on Spotify, please head over to the YouTube page. On YouTube, we're going to put Jesse's information, if you haven't already, his X account. And also follow us Late Night on Base. We'll put our description too. And if you don't mind, a like and subscribe goes a long way for us to produce this content. Once again, Jesse, thank you so much. And let's just bring Base to the billions.
Yeah. Keep building to stay based, everyone.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you.